Hey guys, welcome to my cooking channel Ram's Cooking. I'm Ram. Today we'll be preparing butter chicken in very authentic way. Okay, so for those guys who are calorie conscious, who don't want to become fat and who needs butter chicken in 20 minutes, please unsubscribe this channel immediately. Alright, and for those people who need to learn how to prepare a butter chicken in very authentic way, and there goes a lot of ingredients. Of course, butter chicken is not your diet recipe, and you need at least 1 hour to prepare a proper butter chicken. And please follow this video and you'll be getting a beautiful butter chicken, and you'll know how to prepare a very good butter chicken end of this video. Alright, let's catch up with the ingredients. Please start with the chicken marination. Please marinate the chicken with 1 spoon of yogurt, 1 spoon of ginger garlic paste, 1 spoon of chili powder, 1 spoon of turmeric powder, 1 spoon of coriander powder, half spoon of garam masala, and little bit of oil. Please marinate this the previous night. And let's go to the recipe. Let's start the recipe by adding a gallop of butter with a few spoons of oil. I'm using coconut oil. You can use any oil which is less in flavor. Please do not use olive oil for this recipe. Add a small an inch of ginger and 4 garlics, and then start adding Kashmiri red chili. This chili that you are seeing right now, which goes into the pan, is not for the heat, it's for the color of the recipe. I'm just putting it across just for your reference. It's not going to spice up the recipe at all, just is going to give a good color to this recipe. So I have added ginger, I have added garlic, and I have added a few, like 3 or 4 Kashmiri red chilies. And my next ingredient that goes into this pan is onions. I'm going to add onions now to this recipe. And after adding onions, saute this for just 2 minutes, and please note the flame is low flame. I'm not using high flame because you don't want to burn the garlic and ginger. Mix it well and just wait for 2 minutes, because you're not going to brown the onions for this recipe. If you brown the onions, the taste and the color for this recipe will be different. So instead, to avoid the browning, I'm adding a little bit of water. So adding water to this onion will avoid the onion from browning. After 2 minutes, turn off the flame and collect this ingredient in another vessel. It starts boiling now, so this is quite okay. That's it, we are ready. Remove the pan from heat and collect this mixture in a separate vessel. Okay, that's it. We are done for this. And the onions look soft, they are translucent, which means we are ready. I'm just collecting this in separate vessel, and I'm going to use the same pan for the next mixture to be ready. Always add whole spices without oil. That's because the whole spices itself has oil, and we need the oil to release and give a good fragrance. So I'm adding the whole spices. There goes elaichi, cloves, and javitri. Javitri is an Indian spice. And this is big elaichi. This is the green cardamom, and the one that came at last, the brown cardamom, is called as the big cardamom. That's it. After like 2 minutes, once you start getting the aroma of all these whole spices, I'm adding tomatoes. Please make sure your tomatoes are well ripened. Please do not use green tomatoes. Always use red whole ripened tomatoes. I'm just squeezing this with my hand. If you are not comfortable with this, you can always cut and add the tomatoes. The tomatoes that you are adding now needs to be very soft. We need to cook the tomatoes. The tomatoes needs to be very soft. Now you can see the tomatoes the skin of the tomatoes are a bit hard. Now I have to make sure at the end of this, after 2 minutes, the tomatoes are well cooked. Since this recipe is very creamy recipe, butter chicken is a creamy recipe, I have just added a few drops of water to this. The purpose is the same. I am not allowing these tomatoes to get fried. I'm just going to cook these tomatoes. So adding a little bit of water will make sure the tomatoes are being cooked instead of being fried. I have not added any oil or butter yet to these tomatoes. Butter chicken recipe is a creamy recipe. It's very silky recipe. It's very rich recipe. So we have to add cashews to this recipe. So I'm adding cashews along with the tomatoes. Adding cashews will thicken the gravy, as well as you can find the richness of cashews in the recipe. You can see tomatoes have started to give out all their juices, which means they are being cooked very well. Adding cashew nuts, just a little bit will do. After 2 minutes, turn off the flame and collect this also in a separate vessel, and please make sure you blend the onions, chilies, ginger and garlic. Blend it well, and then also blend the tomatoes well. After blending, please strain the sauce and bring it to the same pan. And after the sauce is kept on the pan, please bring it to low heat, and I'm adding 1 spoon of chili powder for the spice, 1 spoon of coriander powder, and a little bit of butter. Mix it well. I have also added half an inch of lemongrass. You can get it from Carrefour or Choitrum or any store that's nearby. You can ask for Thai lemongrass, and I'm sure you would be getting this. Lemongrass is optional, but I'm sure lemongrass would give a surprise flavor to the butter chicken. I have tried this recipe without lemongrass as well, but adding lemongrass gave a little bit of surprise when consuming this butter chicken. Just keep mixing it well, and make sure you never bring the flame to high heat. Make sure that the pan is always in low heat. Now strain the sauce again. This is the second straining that I am doing, and the first straining was when the puree was added to the pan for the first time, and now I am straining this for the second time to avoid lemongrass or whole spices coming into the butter chicken when eating. Add the chicken that we marinated earlier. Just add the chicken and leave it for next 15 to 20 minutes. Since I have used only chicken breast, it's going to take only 15-20 minutes. I am adding 1 spoon of honey because butter chicken is spicy, tangy and sweet. So I'm adding 1 spoon of honey, and make sure that you leave it in low flame for next 15 minutes. I'm adding little bit of cream, cooking cream, since I have told already that this recipe is very rich recipe and very creamy recipe. I'm adding like 1 spoon of cooking cream, and again I'm adding a little bit of butter. You have to use a lot of butter. That's because the dish itself is called butter chicken. You're going to prepare this like once in a month, if I'm not wrong. This recipe is not your everyday recipe, so it's not bad when you use a lot of butter, cream, cashews, that's okay. And yes, it is a high calorie food. You can see the butter starts to come up on the corners of the pan. So at this time, you can make sure that your chicken is cooked or not. If you want to have a taste, and you can check the salt, you can check the spiciness of this recipe. And I'm adding a little bit of ketchup. This is not optional. You have to add a little bit of ketchup to this recipe, and see, the recipe is very creamy, very saucy and very smooth. So this is a perfect butter chicken. And the butter chicken is ready, and please serve after 15 minutes. Make sure that the salt is added and the salt is okay and you have seasoned it enough. That's it guys, let's go for the trying. So guys, we are ready to check out on the first bite of this butter chicken. I'm pretty confident that's because I have tried this recipe for more than 10 times. I have failed in the first 3-4 times, and the rest consecutive times I have just tried to make it a bit more perfect. Butter chicken should be very silky. You should not find anything other than chicken that is biteable, or even small pieces of onion shouldn't be there. It's a very silky gravy. So that's why we do double straining. Normally single straining works, but I do double straining. That's because the tomato, when it cooks, the skin just falls off, and sometimes you cannot strain it in the first go. So I do it in the second go. Let's just check. So eager. Wow. So perfect. Thank you for watching this video. I'm sure you will know how to prepare a butter chicken now. Just follow my steps, and there is no optional ingredients that I have shown you except the lemongrass, but still you can try with the lemongrass. It's going to be beautiful. And butter chicken should be a very silky gravy. You must not find any lumps or even onions or tomatoes. You should feel just the silky texture of the butter chicken. Some people do single straining, but I would prefer to strain it twice. Once while cooking the tomatoes, and at last after you prepare all the ingredients, and you can strain it again just to get rid of all those whole spices. Whole spices is not allowed when you present a butter chicken. Okay, so let's catch up with any other beautiful recipes shortly. Please put in the comment section if you need any recipes specific like biryani or handi or fried rice or halim or tarahi or whatever recipe. Just put it. I'll give a try for sure. Thank you for watching. Keep smiling.